That's a big question.
Yes.
While we have made strides in sanitation, I believe that we still have a long way to go. Currently, just about 20% of the population is connected to the wastewater system with WASCO, which means almost 80% is not, and they have septic tanks, and some people have nothing, so that is a concern.
This is not a healthy practice. It's not good for the country. It's not good for our major economy, which is tourism, because you get pollutants reaching our waterways and eventually our beaches, which play a very important role in that industry.
When it comes to sanitation in Saint Lucia, it's like most other places in the Caribbean. Most people, either they don't know or they just don't care. So what it is that it's at a state right now where everything gets left behind. It causes some damage to the community, the environment, and that's basically it. So let's say right now the state is like not at a deplorable condition where it cannot be reversed, but is at a condition where it's getting worse and worse.
My advice for sanitation in Saint Lucia is for persons to adopt practices as it relates to waste. For example, solid waste. Persons, when they dispose of their garbage, could either package their baggage based on the type of waste, which can be used for compost in your yard for nutrient enrichment, and persons who dispose of the liquid waste, for example, into the sea, to apply innovative solutions or interventions. For example, you can use a mini constructive wetland, which will use as a filtration system to reduce the amount of waste before it reaches our discharge waters, just like this.
I'm here on this tour of a facility with the CARIBSAN Caribbean Water Sanitation Project, which is a project that is looking to collaborate the International Water Office of France, the water offices of Martinique and Guadeloupe, the International Agricultural Research and Environmental Institute of France, and the WASCO in Saint Lucia, the WASCO in Dominica, and the INHR in Cuba. And we are hoping that this project will assist us in looking at alternatives in managing wastewater and sewage in the Caribbean region.
Well, the CARIBSAN Corporation is actually a good initiative. I mean, most people, it's a way to get people informed and get them educated, also to improve wastewater in small communities and places around the Caribbean, I guess.
I believe constructing these wetlands would greatly assist in controlling the treatment and let's say the disposal of such pollutants.
I'll give you a basic rundown of how we do it here. We collect the water on the lowest points of the property in what we call a lift station. The lift station has these grinder pumps. They're special pumps designed for the purpose we're using them for pumping, grinding up sewage and pumping it up. It gets pumped to the back of the property, which is also the highest part of the property. There it will go into a big tank, which is called, what we call it, a digester. Other people might say it's a septic tank. It spend about 3 days in there on average, and then it overflows into the first wetland bed or reed bed. And a reed bed basically is, it could be a bed made in the ground out of soil, but ours are concrete. And we have medium in the bottom and soil on the top. The water, it's basically a large filter that has plants growing on it. So we are treating the sewage using a very, very natural system. The plants growing on top of it pull out a lot of the nutrients and water, and which evaporates in their leaves. but the act of going through the stones and the time it takes with the interaction with the plants also is the treatment, the actual natural way of treating the water. We have 3 of these beds, so it will take about another week or 2 to get through all 3 beds, and then we will put it into a pond afterwards. It's like a lily pond. We have water hyacinth because it's very prolific and throws flowers and it looks nice. And it spends a little bit more time in the pond, after which we will take that and run that down irrigation tubes, and we use it to irrigate, or I should say fertigate, because it's a highly nutritious water that comes out the other end, which is going to be clear and odorless. So with all of this going on, all the land here pretty much just drinks all the water, and nothing ever gets past these rooms basically, and we're still, as you can see, we're still very, very far from the ocean, and the water basically soaks away, but in a way that's going to benefit us through food. So it's almost like the circle of life. So it goes back on the plate and then the cycle begins again. So that is exactly what we're doing here now.